Okay, so I've got the Washington football team's depth chart up here. So I'll just go through it, give my thoughts on the whole roster and each position group one at a time. So the first position group, receiver, they got some talent. They definitely improved. Probably before this year, they could have been considered for probably the worst receiver group besides Terry McLaurin, who will be their number one receiver, who is very good, very underrated also. I like Terry McLaurin, good deep threat, good just all around player. And when he was the only good receiver on the team, it's very hard for him to like get open a lot, but he just did because he's that good. So I think with some more weapons around him, he could be even more productive. So I do like that. Second receiver, I mean Curtis Samuel, definitely going to be that second receiving option. He could definitely play in the slot. He would probably play on the outside, but he's very versatile. Like he can play running back also. He got like 1,000 rushing yards or something last year. Maybe not 1,000. I can't remember what it was. It was not 1,000, was it? There was some like record thing he got. Like it might have been actually. But Curtis Samuel, I think that was a good pickup. Him and Terry McLaurin could be a very good pairing. They're both two young, talented receivers, so I do like that. I mean, going for like the third receiver, they got Kelvin Harmon listed here. Probably not going to be the third receiver. I think if he stays healthy, he could be pretty decent because he was a pretty good player coming out of college. It just kind of depends on his health, so we'll have to see about that. But I mean, when this thing reloads for the slot receiver, probably. I mean, you can't really say just their slot receiver because will use Curtis Samuel and Terry McLaurin in a lot of different ways, so it won't just be primarily a slot receiver. They got Dammi Brown, who could definitely start in the slot. I think that could be a very good pick for him to start there. He could be a very good deep threat on this roster, and Ryan Fitzpatrick likes to sling the ball, and Dammi Brown could be very effective at that. So I think that's very intriguing. Deandre Brown, I love that draft pick at the time. I don't know what happens all the time. So I would like Dammi Brown to possibly take that slot role. They got Adam Humphries, who they brought in, who's experienced in the slot, was injured last year. He has definite possibility. Probably not. Probably going to be the fourth or fifth receiver, which is pretty good. So that is a good option. Antonio Gandy-Golden, he's a good jump ball receiver. Probably get him used more of the run game and the red zone. Cam Sims and Isaiah Wright, they're two pretty decent receivers last year. They were both pretty good at points. Like Cam Sims more than Isaiah Wright. I think Cam Sims could have some potential. And Steven Sims, more of a returner, pretty good at that. Deep threat and jet sweeps and all that stuff he does. Deandre Carter and Tony Brown might not make the roster. I think Dak Milne probably makes the practice squad. He's a pretty good receiver, actually. That was a good pickup. He definitely has a chance to make the roster. Just kind of, however, he does in camp. So receiver position looking good. Offensive line, very solid. Charles Leno, left tackle. Yeah, he could definitely start there. They got some players that they can kind of rotate around, but Charles Leno, left tackle, looks good. Samuel Cosme to possibly back him up. They could, to be honest, start Charles Leno at right tackle and have Samuel Cosme start straight away. I just don't think they'll start Cosme straight away. I think they sit him for a year or just be a really good backup if a player get injured. He can come in next year. Because I think for the future, he can start straight away. That's the thing. He's a pretty good tackle prospect. I did like him. He was in my top 50 players. They got a lot of good depth. Like Sadiq Charles and David Sharp are also pretty decent backups. The other tackle position, Cornelius Lucas, it was actually pretty decent. He could definitely start there. The thing is, like, Samuel Cosme kind of just a left tackle. Charles Leno has versatility. I could see Samuel Cosme left tackle, Charles Leno right tackle starting straight away. But Cornelius Lucas was pretty decent, so maybe they just keep him there and have Samuel Cosme as a backup. So they could do a lot of different stuff. Rick Leonard also backup. That's fine. The interior isn't as good. Besides one position, left guard is kind of their only really weak spot, and it's not bad. Like Eric Flowers has been a bit better since leaving New York, where he was just horrible. Like he went to Washington before, was pretty decent, then went to Miami, then came back to Washington now. So I think that's a good player. It's definitely an improvement for Wes Whiteshire, who's just not really a good player. So I think that's a good replacement. They do have Chase Rulier at center. He's a good center, so that's fine. They don't got amazing depth on the interior. Like Wes Martin's a pretty good backup and Wes Schweitzer, but they don't got like amazing backups, but it's fine. Brandon Scherf, franchise tagged him. He's very good, so I like that. Bring him back for a year, hopefully make that Super Bowl run, which I think they'll definitely go for because they got a really complete roster. Tight end, Logan Thomas, like broke out last year, could even break out really like more this year because he was very solid, just good all around tight end. So I do like that. They have Tamarick Hemingway listed at their second tight end. Probably not. He's not an amazing player. John Bates, who they drafted, has a definite possibility to take that second or third tight end role. I think he could take the second because the only really other players that could take that position are Dion Yelder and Ricky Seals-Jones. So I could see John Bates being their second tight end. They drafted him pretty high up. Definitely higher than I would have probably drafted him, and most people would have thought that he would have gone to. But I still think it's a decent tight end like player to be your second tight end. Probably never going to be a like superstar, but I think he could be very solid. Good blocker also. And Dion Yelder, good run blocker. Ricky Seals-Jones, kind of a more receiving option. So that's pretty interesting. And they also got Tyron Swoop and Samis Reyes. We'll see if any of these dudes make the roster. Samis Reyes could probably make the practice squad because he's just a really good athlete. So we'll just have to see if that. So it'd probably be Logan Thomas, John Bates, and like Dion Yelder and Ricky Seals-Jones. That's what I would assume. And then quarterback, Ryan Fitzmagic. Yeah, I like it. I like bringing in Fitzpatrick. You would have maybe preferred a better quarterback, but I think Fitzmagic could bring you to the playoffs definitely, especially in a weaker division with a good all-round team. I do like Ryan Fitzpatrick. He will probably have some turnovers, like quite a few, because that's just what he does, but he will give you a lot of good plays. I think better than a quarterback, say, last year, and they got to the playoffs with who they had. Taylor Heinicke as a backup is also pretty interesting because he was very good in that playoff game, but it might have just been a fluke, to be honest. So I think he could start some games this year if Fitzmagic is struggling or they just feel better about Heinicke or he gets injured. We'll just have to see. Also, Kyle Allen, he got some starting snaps last year. Wasn't amazing. But, I mean, if he's your third quarterback, that's still really good. Like, they got some depth. Like, these three quarterbacks could give you some decent playing. Running back position, I really like Antonio Gibson. I think he could have a really good year. He was very good as a rookie last year, changing from receiver, so he could just get even better. Like, it was his first year being primarily a running back, and he was just that good, especially with the offensive line getting better. I really like him possibly to have a really good year and getting a lot of snaps. J.D. McKissick was also a good compliment last year. He was pretty good in the passing game. Like, that's what he was primarily used for, not really used as a runner. But they just threw him the ball and he would just make plays, which is very cool to see. Peyton Barber, he got some, like, a decent amount of snaps as kind of that more power back early like yard situations where it's just like goal line or something or third down. He'll come in. He can definitely get those yards. He could probably, I mean, he could get cut, to be honest. I don't think so. Lamar Miller could get cut. I don't really know if he's the same player that he was before. We'll just have to see. The only really intriguing player, Jarrett Patterson, who I did like. I thought that was a really good pickup for Washington. I think he could make the roster. I think he could kick out Peyton Barber, to be honest, and take that third running back role. I think he could be really productive. He's like probably, I mean, he's pretty similar to Peyton Barber, kind of being that powerful back who's not that big, but just really good, powerful player who just doesn't catch the ball. That's the thing. Just a primarily running back. And then going on to defensive line, very good. Chase Young, defensive rookie of the year, had a very good year for a rookie and kind of expected it. He could be a future star in the league. I think he definitely is on track to be that next really big edge rusher. So I like him. He could have possibly double-digit sacks this year. If not this year, I would hope next year. David Boddy, the German dude. I think Shaka Toney could probably make the roster. I think he will because he's a very refined pass rusher. He could be a good complement to the players they got, so I like that. Interior, Deron Payne's very solid, good in the run stopping game and pass rushing, just good all around player. Matt Ioannidis being that more of a run stopper, I like it. He also has some pass rush upside. Like, they got depth. And then Jonathan Allen also, he kind of plays some nose tackle at points also when they do usually do that because they're big defensive tackle. Same with Tim Settle. These are kind of the bigger dudes, more of the run stoppers. These are more of the passers, I guess, but they all very good at everything. So I like it. I like Jonathan Allen. They're both really good players. Tim Settle also, when he got chances last year, just such a deep line. He was very solid. So I like that, kind of being that backup. And I mean, I think like he could be better than Matthew Ioannidis, to be honest, and get more snaps. Because Tim Settle was very good last year in the limited amount of snaps. And Montez Sweat on the other defensive end position was very solid last year. I think he also has a lot of upside. Like, him and Chase Young could be a very good pairing on that defensive line. So that's very good for them. Two really good young pass rushers who I assume will just get better every single year. Montez Sweat has definitely done that. And James Smith-Williams' backup's pretty decent. Also, William Bradley King, another decent backup they got in the late round of the draft. I think he'd be a good rotational player also, like same with Shaka Toney. They're both pretty decent pickups. They didn't really need to address the defensive line early. I didn't think that would be good because they kind of got their players. But I did like getting the two edge rushers later who have had really good play. Like William Bradley King and Shaka Toney have shown like they have the talent, so I did like that. And then linebacker Cole Holcomb, I would like to see him probably start next year. Like, he played quite a lot of snaps last year, but it was kind of more of like just John Bostic and some other players. So I like Cole Holcomb. I think he can be a very good player. I like it, good athlete. John Bostic, kind of be that veteran player. He's not really amazing. He's kind of just a run defender, kind of a liability in the passing game, just because he's not an amazing athlete, but he's a very smart player. You kind of need that player on your defense, especially like the middle of the defense, being that linebacker. He'll give all the calls on defense. So I think he'll definitely start. And then like backups, David Mayo, Jared Norris, they're pretty decent backups. Casey Tuo, more of a pass rusher. They also got Jamin Davis, who they drafted in the first round. They use three linebackers. He'll definitely be that third linebacker. Could be that second linebacker. Like, if he's just really impressive, I would just roll with John Bostic and Cole Holcomb because they're kind of more veterans. And going straight into starting at linebacker straight away just hasn't really been amazing for rookies. Like, even last year, the two rookies, Kenneth Murray and Patrick Queen, just weren't amazing starting. Did show flashes, which I think Jamin Davis could definitely show if he does start. It's just a very hard position to play, but he will get some playing time. So I did like that. I think future, really good athlete, just amazing player. Cleek Hudson also, decent backup, like that. Good special teamer. And then going on to the secondary, William Jackson, who they picked up in free agency. That was a very good pickup. He's a good corner. So I did like that. They needed that second corner. And I thought he was a very good player. He'll probably be their number one corner. I think he can be that. It's not going to be a high-end corner, but I do like it because he's just all-around solid pretty much. Kendall Fuller was actually pretty decent last year. You can play in the slot. I mean, he'll probably play on the outside, to be honest, for this defense because they don't really got any other players that can really start straight away on the outside. They got some talent. I'd see Kendall Fuller probably starting on the outside. And then Jimmy Moreland in the slot's pretty good. He's just basically a slot corner. That's kind of it. He doesn't really got that versatility to play the outside. But that's a good three cornerbacks you got there. And I mean, the backups were also pretty good. Like, Dan Johnson's a pretty decent backup. DeShader Everett's more of a safety, but I guess he's got some versatility. Greg Stroman, same thing. Like, he can play safety and corner. Benjamin St. Juste actually was a pretty decent draft pick. He could play safety, to be honest. I could see him transitioning to that spot. But I think he could be a very good backup corner just for this year even. Maybe for the future, because he's probably not ready to start straight away. Because like level of competition, just like playing time tomorrow. So he's just a very raw prospect who just is a really good athlete. That's kind of it. But I do like him. He had some very good play at the Senior Bowl. And Darryl Roberts also a pretty good veteran backup. He could get some starting time next year, especially if injuries happen and like all that. He could be a very good fourth corner, I think, for them straight away. So I thought that was a good pickup, kind of underrated also. Like he's not a starting corner, but he's very solid in that kind of backup role. When like players get injured, you got somebody like Darryl Roberts to step in. It's very solid. They got Boddy McCain listed at corner. Boddy McCain's a free safety. But he can play a bit in the slot. I just don't see it. I see him just being kind of that third safety. Like they got so much players in that safety position. Like Landon Collins will probably play that box safety, which can kind of open up the two safety spots to the back. Like they'll rotate him in with the linebackers. Could probably play more linebacker than safety. And then you got Cameron Crowe, who was very solid last year as a 7th-round pick. I don't know if he starts in the defense with the players coming back, but it's a definite possibility. I could see it because he was solid, so I do like that. Jeremy Reeves was pretty decent in spots last year, just more of a special teamer. Troy Apke, more of a backup, really, but that's still solid. Yeah, the dude Boddy McCain, I think he could be their free safety, to be honest, because I was surprised he got cut because he was pretty good safety, to be honest, at Miami. So he could take that starting role at that free safety position. Maybe you could have Landon Collins in the box. You got Cameron Curl and Boddy McCain being the two safeties up top. That could be very solid for your secondary. Or you just start one of those dudes in the slot straight away. We'll have to see. They got a lot of stuff they can do. Even Derek Forrest was a very good draft pick. I like him from Cincinnati. He was very solid. Not going to start for them straight away, but that's a good depth, good special teamer straight away. So I did like that. So, I mean, their secondary as a whole is looking very solid. That's kind of it with their whole defense. Like, linebacker position, if you really want to pick on it, it's probably their least good position on their defense. That was horrible grammar. Least good, but they got some talent like Jamin Davis, high upside, just kind of raw player though, just really good athlete. And then like the other players, John Bostic's not amazing, but he's fine. Same with Cole Holcomb. They got no like big players there, but I like their defense. It's very good. It could be the best defense in the league next year, especially with this pass rush. That will help out the secondary. And then they got players in the secondary to hold up also. I think William Jackson's a better player than Darby, who played last year, who was very solid. Their safety group's very deep. They got a lot of talent. Cornerback position, they also got a lot of good depth. Very good. It's kind of just really going to depend on the offense. Like if Ryan Fitzpatrick is trash, that's kind of the only thing that I think that will keep them from making a playoff run. But I don't think Ryan Fitzpatrick is trash. So I think he could get them to the playoffs. They'll win with their defense, definitely. But they've got more options on their offense. Like their receiver position, very good now. So they can definitely win on their offense. And offensive line is better also. Bring in Charles Leno, Eric Flowers, Samuel Cosme, Cornelius Lucas kind of broke out a bit. I wouldn't say broke out. Was just solid. Tight end, I guess, kind of the only position, but you got Logan Thomas and John Bates. It's actually pretty solid. If you're just really picking on it, they don't have a true star, but because like just Logan Thomas is a bit older now because he was a quarterback. But this roster as a whole, just very good. Running back position, love. And then like special teams, they got Tress Way, who's a very good punter. Dustin Hopkins, who's a very good kicker last year. Cameron Cheeseman, the long snapper, he'll probably be good. I mean, they drafted him. Don't really know about that, though. Kick returner, I mean, they got some guys like Antonio Gibson, Isaiah Wright. They could definitely start there. Diane Johnson actually probably be their kick returner. That's kind of his role. Could be one of the, like, Deandre Carter if he makes the roster. Steven Sims kind of more of their punt returner. He's pretty decent at that. They got a lot of players like J.D. McKissick and stuff. So they could do some stuff on that special teams. Their special team's going to be good also. So they're a good all-around roster. And football team, I think they'll be pretty good next year. I think they'll definitely make the playoffs. I think they're the best team in the NFC East. And I'm really rooting for them because I like their roster as a whole. and I just like their team. So I hope that they do well. I just hope they don't beat the Saints in the playoffs if they make it.